The fluorescent lights hummed quietly in the underground laboratory as Dr. James Brown stared at his computer screen for the 10th time that night. Something was wrong with the numbers. Or perhaps something was right in an impossible way. "This can't be correct," he muttered, running his hand through his graying hair. The particle behavior readings from his quantum tunneling experiment showed patterns that defied everything he knew about physics. What had started as a standard faster-than-light travel research project had turned into something else entirely. He took another sip of his cold coffee and called out to his research partner. "Tom, can you come look at this? I think either our equipment is broken, or we've got something very strange happening here." Tom Walker, a younger scientist with tired eyes and a wrinkled lab coat, walked over to James's workstation. He leaned in, squinting at the graphs on the screen. "That's odd. The particles aren't just tunneling. They're completely ignoring the quantum barrier, almost like they're rewriting local physics." "Exactly," James said, pointing to a specific data point. "But here's the weird part. It only happens when we're actively monitoring the experiment. When we let the automated systems run the tests, everything behaves normally." The two scientists spent the next few hours running the experiment again and again. Each time, the results were the same. When a human observer was present and focusing on the particle stream, the normal rules of quantum mechanics seemed to bend. Word spread quickly through the Global Science Institute. Within days, other researchers began replicating their experiments. Some got the same impossible results, while others failed completely. The pattern that emerged was even more bizarre. The effect seemed stronger with certain people. During one late-night session, James noticed something that made his heart race. He was watching the particle stream while hooked up to an EEG machine, a standard practice they'd implemented to monitor researcher fatigue. As his concentration intensified, the EEG patterns shifted, and at that exact moment, the quantum behavior became more pronounced. "It's not just human observation," he announced to the team gathered in the lab. "It's human consciousness itself. Our brainwaves are somehow interacting with quantum states in a way that shouldn't be possible." The discovery sparked immediate controversy in the scientific community. Senior physicists from prestigious universities declared it impossible, a result of faulty equipment or wishful thinking. But they couldn't explain away the growing mountain of evidence. Dr. Anna Miller, a quantum physicist from another research facility, arrived to verify their findings. She brought new equipment and a fresh perspective. "If your hypothesis is correct," she said during her first meeting with James, "then everything we know about the observer effect and quantum mechanics needs to be reevaluated." The breakthrough came 3 weeks later. Anna had modified their testing apparatus to include a device that could amplify and focus human brainwave patterns. During their first test with the new equipment, they didn't just bend the rules of physics. They broke them completely. The particle stream didn't just ignore the quantum barrier. It created a new pathway through space-time itself. For a brief moment, the laws of physics in the testing chamber operated under different rules seemingly dictated by human consciousness. As James stared at the test results that evening, he felt a chill run down his spine. They had discovered something profound, a loophole in reality itself. But the implications terrified him. If human consciousness could alter the fundamental laws of physics, even in a small area, what else might be possible? He didn't know it then, but somewhere far beyond Earth's atmosphere, advanced alien civilizations were asking themselves the same question, and they didn't like the answers they were finding. The discovery that would change everything had been made. Humanity had taken its first step toward mastering the underlying fabric of reality itself, and the universe would never be the same. 3 months after their initial discovery, Dr. James Brown and Dr. Anna Miller worked in their newly upgraded laboratory. The government had finally taken notice of their research, providing better equipment and more funding. But with the support came increased pressure and watchful eyes. "Try it again," Anna said, adjusting the settings on their brainwave amplifier. "Focus on the red dot and imagine the particles moving through the barrier." James sat in the testing chair, electrodes attached to his temples. The device they'd built looked like a silver crown, humming softly as it amplified his brainwave patterns. In front of him, a sealed chamber contained their quantum testing apparatus. The first attempt failed. So did the second. But on the third try, something clicked. The particles didn't just pass through the barrier. They changed the very nature of space within the chamber. For exactly 3.7 seconds, gravity reversed itself in the testing area. Equipment floated upward, defying one of nature's most fundamental forces. "Did you see that?" Anna shouted, her professional calm forgotten in the excitement. "We didn't just bend the rules this time. We rewrote them completely." The breakthrough sparked a series of rapid developments. They discovered that different people could affect reality in different ways. Tom Walker, their colleague, showed a talent for altering electrical fields. Another researcher could temporarily change the speed of light within the testing chamber. But the most significant discovery came from an unexpected source. During a routine test, a young lab assistant named Mike Rogers achieved something remarkable. While wearing the amplifier, he didn't just change the properties of particles, he created new ones that shouldn't exist. It's like each human mind has its own way of interpreting and changing reality. Anna explained during an emergency meeting with military officials. The amplifier just gives us the power to make those changes stick. General Thompson, a stern-faced man with graying temples, leaned forward in his chair. "And these changes, they're temporary." "For now," James replied. "But we're learning to make them last longer." The real question is, why does human consciousness have this ability at all? The military's interest grew stronger after they demonstrated how the effect could be used to create localized fields where physics behaved differently. They could make areas where electronics wouldn't work, where time moved slightly faster or slower, or where gravity could be adjusted at will. But James noticed something troubling. Each time they used the device, strange energy readings appeared in the upper atmosphere. It was as if something was watching, measuring, taking notes. One evening, as they were running final tests on an improved version of the amplifier, all their equipment suddenly began displaying the same message. "Stop no." The message vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving the scientists stunned. Analysis showed it hadn't come through any known communication channel. It had simply appeared, as if reality itself had been used to deliver a warning. "We should tell someone about this," Tom suggested, looking nervously at the ceiling. "Not yet," Anna replied, her face set with determination. "We're too close to understanding how this really works. Whatever sent that message, they're afraid of what we might discover." James looked at the amplifier, now capable of affecting a space the size of a small room. They had proven that human consciousness could do more than just observe reality. It could change it, shape it, even rewrite its rules. But he couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to face something bigger than they could imagine. Unknown to them, high above Earth's atmosphere, an alien observation post was sending urgent messages across the galaxy. Humanity had not only discovered the universe's greatest secret, they were getting better at using it. And that terrified beings who had spent millennia trying to achieve the same thing. The real test of humanity's newfound power was about to begin. It happened on a Tuesday morning. Every screen on Earth, phones, computers, televisions, even digital watches, displayed the same message. "We arrive in 6 hours. Prepare your leaders." At the Global Science Institute, James and Anna watched military vehicles surround their building. General Thompson arrived within the hour, his face grim. "Whatever's coming," he said, looking at their reality-altering device, "they're coming because of this. We need to be ready." The 6 hours passed like minutes. Exactly on time, massive silver ships appeared in the skies above every major city on Earth. They didn't arrive through normal space. They simply faded into existence, ignoring physics just as the research team's particles had done. A single ship, smaller than the others, landed on the lawn outside the institute. Its surface looked like flowing mercury, and it made no sound. When it opened, the beings that stepped out looked almost human, but not quite. They were tall, with pale silver skin and eyes that seemed to shift color as they moved. "We are the Watchers," the first one announced, its voice somehow appearing directly in everyone's minds. "We have been observing humanity for a very long time. But now you force us to reveal ourselves." James, Anna, and General Thompson were escorted to a meeting room. 3 Watchers sat across from them, their color-shifting eyes fixed on the humans. "Show us your device," the lead Watcher commanded. Anna brought out their latest version of the reality-altering amplifier. The Watchers' eyes widened, an expression of what seemed to be fear crossing their almost human faces. "Impossible," one whispered. "They've done it with such primitive technology." The lead Watcher leaned forward. "Your species has discovered something that should have remained hidden. Do you understand what you've done? You found a way to exploit the fundamental flaw in reality itself." "Flaw?" James asked. "We thought it was just a natural interaction between consciousness and quantum states." The Watcher shook its head. "The universe has rules, Dr. Brown. Hard rules that keep reality stable. But there is a flaw, a loophole in the code of existence itself. We discovered it millennia ago, but we could never exploit it. Our minds lack the necessary chaos. Human consciousness," Anna said suddenly. "That's what makes us different, isn't it?" "Yes," the Watcher replied. "Your minds are unique in all the galaxy. Unpredictable, creative, chaotic. Somehow, this allows you to slip through reality's defenses, to change the rules themselves." General Thompson spoke up. "And this threatens you." "It terrifies us," another Watcher admitted. "We spent thousands of years trying to master this power. Your species discovered it by accident and mastered it in months. The device you built, we couldn't create anything like it in all our centuries of trying." The lead Watcher stood up, its silver skin shimming in the fluorescent light. "We came to warn you. Other species are watching. Many fear what humanity might do with this power. Some are calling for extreme measures." "You mean they want to destroy us?" James said quietly. "Some do," the Watcher nodded. "But we believe there might be another way. We've seen into your minds. Despite your chaos, there is also wisdom there. Perhaps that is why the universe chose your species for this gift." As they talked, James noticed something strange. The Watchers kept glancing nervously at Anna's hands. She had been fidgeting with a pen, and with each movement, tiny ripples appeared in the air around her, micro-changes in reality that she was causing without even trying. The humans were changing reality without their device, without even meaning to. And the Watchers were right to be terrified. What humanity had discovered wasn't just a scientific breakthrough. It was an awakening, and now that it had begun, there would be no going back. The universe would never be the same, and its oldest civilizations could only watch in fear as humanity took its first steps toward truly mastering reality itself. 1 week after first contact, the Watchers demanded all reality-altering research be stopped immediately. They stood in the main laboratory, their silver skin reflecting the fluorescent lights as they watched humans pack away equipment. "All copies of the research data must be destroyed," the lead Watcher said, "for the safety of the galaxy." James and Anna exchanged glances. They knew that wouldn't be possible. The knowledge had already spread too far. Labs across the world had started replicating their results. "There's something you're not telling us," Anna said, watching another micro-ripple of altered reality float past her hand. These small changes were happening more frequently now, not just to her, but to people worldwide. The lead Watcher's eyes shifted from blue to deep purple, a sign they had learned meant worry. "Very well. We will show you." They led the research team to their ship. Inside, a hologram filled the room, showing different alien civilizations that had risen and fallen over millions of years. Each of these species discovered the reality loophole, the Watcher explained. Each time, it led to disaster. Some tore their planets apart. Others accidentally erased themselves from existence. The lucky ones only destroyed their solar systems. But that was them. General Thompson argued. Humans are different. Yes, the Watcher agreed. You are different. You are far more dangerous. Your minds can alter reality without technology. Even now, your species is changing, evolving. Soon, you won't need devices at all. James watched another ripple of altered reality pass through the room. The Watcher was right. These effects were getting stronger. Just yesterday, a child in Kansas had accidentally turned their entire school invisible for an hour. The changes cannot be stopped, a second Watcher said, but they must be controlled. If humanity continues to develop these abilities unchecked, you risk unraveling the fabric of space-time itself. But even as they spoke, reports were coming in from around the world. A teenager in Brazil had created a bubble where time ran backwards. A farmer in Russia had accidentally created a field where plants grew in impossible colors. Reality itself was starting to bend around human consciousness. We've seen your future possibilities, the lead Watcher said, changing the hologram. It showed Earth shattering apart, then the sun exploding, then worse disasters. These are not predictions. They are warnings. Anna stood up suddenly. No, these are possibilities you're afraid of because you don't understand us. Show us what happens in the futures where we succeed. The Watchers looked uncomfortable. Finally, the lead Watcher waved a hand. The hologram changed again, showing humans spreading across the galaxy, reshaping reality in harmony with the universe's natural laws. These futures are rare, the Watcher admitted, but they exist. Then help us, James said. Instead of trying to stop us, teach us. Help us understand these powers before they grow too strong. General Thompson nodded. We can establish controls, safety protocols, but we won't give up this discovery. The Watchers conferred among themselves in silent mental communication. Around them, reality rippled and shifted as the humans in the room unconsciously affected it with their thoughts. Finally, the lead Watcher turned back. You leave us no choice. If we cannot stop you, we must try to guide you. But remember our warning. Reality itself is at stake. As they left the ship, James noticed something that gave him hope. Where Anna's reality ripples had once been chaotic, they now moved in perfect, geometric patterns. Humans weren't just gaining power, they were learning to control it. The Watcher's warning was real, but so was humanity's potential. The question wasn't whether they would change the universe, but how. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, other alien civilizations watched and waited, preparing their own responses to humanity's growing power. The true test was just beginning. 3 months after the Watcher's warning, humanity's ability to manipulate reality had grown beyond anyone's expectations. The Global Science Institute had been transformed into the Center for Reality Studies, where humans and Watchers worked together to understand these new powers. James walked through the main laboratory, watching students practice their abilities. In one corner, a young researcher named Mike was holding a small bubble of altered space where he had changed the color of light itself. In another, Anna was teaching a group how to create stable reality modifications that could last for days. Their progress is frightening, the lead Watcher said, appearing silently beside James. In 3 months, you've achieved what took us 3,000 years to even theorize. They watched as Anna demonstrated a new technique. She created a sphere where the laws of physics were completely rewritten. Inside it, water flowed upward, forming impossible shapes in the air. The medical breakthroughs alone are changing everything, James replied. He pointed to another room where doctors were learning to temporarily alter the rules of biology. They could now heal injuries by simply telling the body's cells to follow different rules, rules that made healing happen in minutes instead of months. Reports came in hourly from around the world. Engineers in Japan had created zones where electricity flowed without resistance, solving energy problems overnight. Scientists in Egypt had learned to alter the properties of materials, making them stronger than diamond but lighter than air. But it wasn't just scientists making discoveries. Regular people were developing abilities too. Children seemed especially gifted at reality manipulation, their young minds naturally adapting to the idea that the rules of the universe were more like guidelines. "Look at this," Anna called out, bringing up a holographic display. "We've figured out how to create permanent changes." She demonstrated by taking a simple pencil and altering its fundamental properties. The pencil began floating, defying gravity as if it was the most natural thing in the world. The watcher's eyes shifted to deep red, their color for extreme concern. Permanent changes. That shouldn't be possible. Reality should always try to reset itself. "Not anymore," James said. "We're not just bending the rules now. We're learning to rewrite them completely." In orbit above Earth, the first ships built with reality-altered materials were being constructed. They didn't need engines. They simply ignored the laws that said faster-than-light travel was impossible. Humanity was preparing to expand into the stars, not through traditional means, but by simply telling physics to work differently. "There's more," Anna said, pulling up another report. "We've started seeing changes we didn't make. It's like reality itself is beginning to anticipate what we want. The universe is adapting to us." The watcher moved to a window, looking out at the changed world. Trees with glowing leaves lined the streets, a child's idea that had caught on and spread. Cars floated instead of rolling, the roads themselves now unnecessary. The sky shimmered with colors that hadn't existed 3 months ago. "You still don't understand the danger," the watcher said quietly. "Reality is not meant to be this flexible. The more you change, the more likely it is that everything will." A sudden ripple passed through the air, bigger than any they'd seen before. For a moment, everything shifted, like the world was a painting being twisted. When it settled, things had changed. The walls of the building were now transparent. Not glass, just transparent, as if someone had decided walls should work that way. "We can't stop it," James said, watching another ripple approach. "Reality is changing, adapting to human consciousness. The only choice now is to learn to control it." The watcher nodded slowly. "Then we must hope your species learns control quickly, because the rest of the galaxy has noticed these changes, and not everyone will be as patient as we have been." The ripples were getting stronger, more frequent. Humanity's power was still growing, and the universe itself was beginning to change in response. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Coalition filled the massive space station orbiting Jupiter. Representatives from over 1,000 alien civilizations had gathered to discuss one urgent topic: the human problem. James and Anna stood with General Thompson before the assembled aliens, accompanied by their watcher allies. The variety of alien forms was stunning. Some were energy beings, others looked like living crystals, and many had shapes that human minds could barely comprehend. "The humans must be stopped," announced the Nexus leader, a beam of pure light. "Their reality alterations have spread beyond their solar system. Look." A hologram appeared, showing how human changes to reality were rippling across space. Entire star systems were being affected by humanity's unconscious desires. Stars that should have died continued to shine because humans thought they were beautiful. Empty planets had begun sprouting life simply because humans imagined they should. "We had good reasons for not using the reality loophole," a crystalline being chimed in, its voice ringing like bells. "The universe has order. Humans are turning it into chaos." The evidence was hard to deny. Near Mars, a group of human children had accidentally created a new moon while playing with their abilities. Another human had absent-mindedly changed the color of space itself in a nearby sector, turning the void a deep purple instead of black. "They don't even need devices anymore," another alien leader observed fearfully. "Their powers grow daily. Soon they will be able to reshape entire galaxies with a thought." Anna stepped forward to speak. Reality rippled around her naturally now, like waves in a pond. "We understand your fears, but we're learning to control these abilities. Look." She gestured, and a small portion of space in the center of the room changed. Inside it, they could see a new solar system forming, but not through natural processes. Humans were building it from scratch, carefully crafting each planet and star to create a perfect harmony. "Impossible," whispered the Nexus leader. "They've mastered creation itself." "Not mastered," James corrected. "We're still learning. That's why we need time, not threats." General Thompson displayed their latest data. "We've established training centers worldwide. Every human with reality-altering abilities is learning control. We've created safety protocols, established boundaries." But even as he spoke, another ripple passed through space. Somewhere on Earth, a human had just rewritten the rules of time in their local area. The change spread outward, causing nearby alien ships to shift and flicker. "Enough," shouted a tall, shadow-like being. "We must act now, before they become too powerful to stop." The chamber erupted in debate. Some aliens called for immediate action against Earth. Others urged caution, fascinated by humanity's unique abilities. The watchers stood silently, their color-shifting eyes watching everything. Then something unexpected happened. A young human girl, who had somehow slipped into the meeting, walked to the center of the chamber. As she moved, reality danced around her like a living thing. "Why are you afraid?" she asked simply. "We can make things better. Look." With a wave of her hand, she created something new. A space where all species could exist together comfortably, despite their different environmental needs. It was an impossible feat of reality engineering that even the most advanced aliens had never achieved. The chamber fell silent. "This is what we fear," the Nexus leader said quietly. "Not that you will destroy everything, but that you will change everything. The universe we knew will cease to exist." "Maybe it should," Anna suggested. "Maybe it's time for the universe to evolve, just as we are." As the coalition members watched, more ripples spread through space. Humanity's power was still growing, still changing, still evolving. And now the galaxy had to make a choice. Try to stop the unstoppable, or embrace a new reality shaped by human dreams. The vote was about to begin. The vote never happened. As the coalition prepared to decide humanity's fate, James stepped forward with an idea that would change everything. "Before you vote," he said, his voice carrying across the chamber, "let us show you what we've learned about reality itself." Reality rippled around him as he spoke, but now the ripples were controlled, precise. Anna joined him, and together they created a demonstration that left the alien assembly stunned. They didn't just alter reality. They revealed its true nature. "The universe isn't just made of rules," Anna explained, as she and James wove space and time into visible patterns. "It's made of possibilities. We humans didn't break reality. We awakened it." Using their newfound understanding, they showed how reality wasn't a fixed thing, but a living, growing system. The aliens watched in amazement as human children on Earth played with these possibilities, not destroying order but creating new forms of it. "Yes, we can change the rules," James continued, "but we've learned something more important: when to leave them alone." To prove his point, he showed how humans had started creating protected zones where original physics remained unchanged. They were preserving spaces where reality worked the old way, maintaining balance while exploring new possibilities. The young girl who had spoken earlier stepped forward again. With careful movements, she demonstrated the newest human discovery: the ability to share their reality-shaping power with others. "We can teach you," she said, holding out her hand to the nearest alien. "Not to change reality like we do, but to work with it in your own way." The alien, a being of crystalline light, hesitantly reached out. Under the girl's guidance, it made a tiny change to reality, perhaps the first its species had ever managed. The joy that radiated from the crystalline being was felt by everyone present. "This is our proposal," General Thompson announced. "Instead of restricting these abilities, we'll create a school, a place where all species can learn to understand reality together. Humans will teach control, while other species share their wisdom of the universe. The watchers, who had remained silent until now, suddenly moved to the center of the chamber. Their silver skin glowed as they spoke. "Now we understand," the lead watcher said. "Humans weren't meant to be stopped. They were meant to be teachers. The universe itself chose them for this role. Across Earth, humans were already putting these principles into practice. Reality-shaping zones were carefully marked and controlled. Children learned responsibility alongside their growing powers. Scientists worked with artists to create beautiful new forms of existence that still respected the fundamental balance of space and time." The coalition members watched in growing wonder as humanity demonstrated not just power, but wisdom. They weren't destroying the universe. They were helping it grow. "We offer you partnership," James said to the assembled aliens. "Help us understand the old rules, and we'll help you explore new ones. Together, we can make reality better for everyone." One by one, the alien representatives voted, not on whether to stop humanity, but on whether to join them in this new adventure. The vote was unanimous. As the chamber erupted in celebration, Anna turned to James with a smile. "You know this is just the beginning, right?" James nodded, watching reality ripple with new possibilities around them. Humans had found a loophole in reality, but they'd done something even more remarkable. They'd learned to use it responsibly. The universe would never be the same, but that was exactly as it should be. Reality wasn't meant to stay fixed and unchanging. Like humanity itself, it was meant to grow, to evolve, to become more than it was. And now, with humans leading the way and other species joining them, that evolution could finally begin. The aliens weren't terrified anymore. They were excited to see what would come next. The future was no longer just a set of rules to be followed. It was a canvas of infinite possibilities, waiting to be explored together.